I think that's the hardest thing to do, is kind of admit that you're not mentally okay.
Hi, I'm Martin Kemp, and with the help of Bupa, I want to encourage men to open up about their mental health challenges. So I'm taking them on a drive.
You need a lift? So I want to talk to you about caring for an elderly relative and how that might affect the carer's mental health. What's your family set up?
My mum was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 59, a couple of years after my dad had passed away with a brain tumour, so
Right.
I was left with my twin sister to care for my mum at home when she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Has your mum always been at home then?
So she was at home for 7 years. Me and my sister cared for her for 7 years between us both, and now she's been in a care home for nearly 3 years.
When you put your mum into the care home, how did that make you feel?
So guilt's the biggest thing. I think it's very difficult not to feel guilty, because you try and keep them at home for as long as possible, but it's more of a selfish way of, you want them to stay home for your sake, as opposed to them requiring more care. But it's been very positive overall, apart from the guilt, because that's something that you just won't get rid of, but it's gave me peace of mind and a huge weight off my shoulders, and I've got a bit of my life back again, instead of having that 24/7 constant thought of how she's doing.
But do you think because you've got peace of mind now and you've got your life back, that reflects on your mum? Do you think that makes her happier?
Yeah, because
she must have guilt as well that you're caring for her, mustn't she?
I can spend quality time with her now, as opposed to being stressed, and from doing that she's then getting a better visit from me, so I get to spend good times with her, instead of, I used to always be stressed and tired at the weekends after work, that it wasn't enjoyable for me, and I don't know if she enjoyed the time that we had.
Yeah. Did you know when there became a time when you needed outside help?
We just couldn't care for her the way that she required anymore.
Yeah.
She just needed more than what we could give her, and it wasn't right for us to keep her at home for our sake. And that's when we decided to look.
I ended up putting my father-in-law into a care home, Shirley's dad. And I mean, it was great for him, but it was really difficult for Shirley.
Yeah.
It was the guilt of putting him into the care home.
Yeah, it's the
Shirley
walking
went
away as
through.
well. It's really it's difficult. It still is difficult, even though she's been there 3 years. Walking away is still difficult, but you kind of get used to it a little bit, and just it's one of those things you can't really describe until you go through it.
What was difficult for me was just watching the pain it put Shirley through. You know, because it was Shirley's dad, and I got on really well with him, and he was a lovely man. But it was just the pain that it put Shirley through that made it difficult for me. And it took a couple of years for that to settle down, you know. But when it did, it was something that we both appreciated. You know.
And did you know how to deal with Shirley to help console her, or did you? That's what a lot of people ask me, like, what can you do to someone to help them going through a care home?
I think, looking back on it with Shirley, what I was trying to do is almost distract her from it. But I was making sure that every time she went to the care home, I would go with her. So it was more like it wasn't Shirley visiting her dad. It was more of a kind of small get-together that we had in the home to make it really nice.
Yeah.
You know. Did you look around at a lot of different homes before you put her there?
Yes, we looked at loads of reviews online, and then we went and visited them so we could get a feel of what they were like, because we wanted my mum to feel, to feel comfortable in a place that we liked, and we'd know she would like if we liked it. So,
what about the toll it took on your mental health?
It's definitely took a huge toll on my mental health. Mum's illness, and even going in the care home, I think that was really difficult for me, because I just couldn't deal with it to begin with. I was struggling with work at the same time as looking after my mum, and the thought of her going into a care home, it was all happening at the same time, so it was a lot for me to cope with. So I had to take some time off work, because I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, it really affected me really badly. I don't think you realise how much it affects you until you do go through that. But it's been quite positive all in all. I think the beginning was more the thought of it, but it's definitely took a huge weight off my shoulders, and it gives me peace of mind.
You know, when you realised you were going through that stage, when it was taking its toll on your mental health, how did you fix that for yourself?
I realised that I wasn't caring for myself, and I was always putting my mum first. And I think because she was in a care home, it gave me time to reflect on my own health. And then I realised I wasn't well. I wasn't coping with it, so I decided to seek help. I think that's the hardest thing to do, is kind of admit that you're not mentally okay.
Do you have any positive thoughts or stories about your mum being in a care home?
They have family parties there, so for their birthday they get a lot of people round, or they have little pantos around the Christmas festive period. So good times with her is going over and being able to have things you'd usually go out to go and see, but they come into the care home.
It's really good that they do that.
It just makes a difference, and it's just nice to see them enjoying themselves, and they don't need to go outside the care home.
So what advice have you got for a guy who is taking on caring responsibilities and is taking a toll on his mental health?
I would say be very open about it, because you'll be surprised at how many people are in the same boat. Because you feel so alone and isolated, you do feel like you are that only person, but seek help. There's help out there. Even just speaking to your doctor, it's easy to speak to someone. Share a problem shared.
Share a problem.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in counselling and therapy. I think it works really well. Would you advise someone who's got caring responsibilities to go to look into care homes sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think from my experience, because you always hear negative things sometimes about care homes, that kind of shadows how good they are. And if I had known what the care homes did for both my mental health and my mum's, it's something that we would have looked at a lot earlier.
So the whole experience has been a positive impact on your mental health?
Yeah, 100%. It's one of the hardest but one of the best decisions we made for my mum and for my own health and my sisters. It's just, as a family, it's helped us all. It's helped the whole unit.
You know, as men get older, right, they become more isolated. Do you think they can be relieved, that feeling of isolation, by going into a care home?
Yeah, they can play games with each other and have dinner together, and they all mingle in the care home, so there's loads of activities or just sitting with each other, which they don't have when they're in their own houses. Because a lot of older men lose their friends, and it's harder for them to find friends at an older age. So when they're in a care home, they're kind of forced in a way to become friends, and I think that helps deal with the loneliness and isolation. They've got a companion almost again.
So did you feel less isolated and less lonely when your mum went into a care home?
Yeah, it gave me someone else to speak to. The carers have been very helpful to us. They're like a second family almost. We can sit and discuss our problems. They ask us how we're doing. It gives me my life back again. I've been able to go and socialise with my own friends without having to worry about is mum looked after.
When you speak to your mum, tell her I sent my love.
I will do. She used to watch you on well, we used to watch in EastEnders back in the
On
day.
EastEnders, did she?
A car crash, yeah.
I tell you what, when we stop, we'll have a selfie and you can show it to her later.
Oh yeah, she'll love that.
Me and Steve Owen.
That's his name.